Facebook advertising, meta advertising can be a really great way to get some new leads in for your music teaching business, for your music studio. But if you're not careful, it's also a really easy way to just take a wad of cash and throw it into some sort of void trash can type of scenario, right? So there's a lot of things that can go into Facebook advertising, but I want to talk about the number one thing, and it's really easy to set up, that you need to be doing to make your Facebook advertising more effective. I'll walk you through the whole process here. So first off, my name is Mike. I am a coach here at BAM Squad. I specialize in the digital marketing, tracking, analytics types of things, but I also own 2 music schools of my own here in the lovely state of Ohio. So as I was saying, Facebook can be really, really great, but have you ever tried Facebook advertising before and it just kind of fizzled out, or you didn't get anything back from it? There's a lot of reasons why that can happen, but from all the people that I have helped with Facebook advertising, this one thing can be really, really important, okay? And that is all about going to be making sure that your messaging is correct for the type of people that you're speaking to. And what I mean by that is sort of what process in the funnel they are in with consideration of music lessons and consideration of your studio or teaching business in general, right? So a lot of times I see people run an ad that says, oh, 50% off your first month of lessons. They just throw it out to Facebook and they don't get anything back, right? Well, you got to think, even if that's a really great deal, these people have never heard of you before, right? They don't trust you. They don't know who you are. This is their first touch point, right? And even if you're pretty well known in your community, again, a lot of times Facebook is just going to be going out to, people that it's going to be going out to a lot of different types of people, right? So there's going to be those folks who don't know you, right? And even if they do kind of know you, maybe they're not ready for music lessons right now, and now's just not a good time for them, right? So hitting them with these really punchy marketing offers for people who haven't even thought about taking music lessons oftentimes isn't going to work. And if you do get a couple leads from that, then you're just lucky that the Facebook algorithm put that in front of some people who happened to be looking for music lessons or thinking about music lessons at that time, right? So what we want to do is we want to create custom audiences so that we can speak to people very directly. So we can create audiences of people who've been on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page, who've engaged with us before, who have been on our website before, people who've maybe started filling out lead forms before. These are folks who have shown that they're interested in music lessons in some capacity, but for whatever reason, they just haven't gone over the finish line, right? So what we can do is we can create advertising that are either A, those more punchy hooks, but they're going towards people that we know have been on our website in the past 2 weeks. That's much more likely to book. Or we can hit them with testimonials. We can do frequently asked questions. Again, if they've shown interest in your particular studio, but just haven't crossed the finish line, then there's some sort of reason. So if you give them with a testimonial ad, or you show them how easy it is to sign up, or you give them a self-booking link, or whatever the case may be, this can be really, really effective. But that's not going to work if people have never even thought about music lessons or your studio at all, right? So let me show you how to to set this up. It's a piece of cake, I pinky promise, all right? So we're going to go over here to this screen. This may look unfamiliar to you, but here's how we're going to get here. So Facebook has a couple different ad manager platforms, which can be confusing. So my recommendation is just go right on up here to adsmanager.facebook.com. Just type that in directly. It should take you to a screen. You'll probably see a couple different campaigns and things like that. You might have to go to this drop-down menu that's right here and find your business's account or your ad account or whatever you may have set up in the past, or something that you just now set up, right? From there, you're going to go over to this left-hand side where these 3 little people are. That's going to be your audiences. Just right over here on the left-hand side. Click that. It might take a second to load, and it'll take you right here. Now, your custom audiences are probably going to be empty if you haven't done this before, or maybe there's just 1 or 2 in there. But I want to talk about a couple different audiences and how you can take advantage of them, right? I have a zillion here. Don't be worried about that. You don't have to do a zillion. I'm always testing things, so that's why. And this is on an old account here anyway. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on this beautiful big blue Create Audience button, all right? And then we are going to hit Custom Audiences. You have 2 options, Custom Audience and Lookalike Audience. We'll talk about Lookalike here in a second. That is such an amazing way to get Facebook to work for you. But first, we need Custom Audiences to do it, okay? So we're going to hit Custom Audience, move my big head out of the way, and then what we're going to do is you can see what your different sources are. So luckily, Facebook can set most of this up for you as long as you just have a couple things. So let's actually look at meta sources here first, because there's nothing you really have to do at all to set this up. Facebook will do the heavy lifting, right? So let's say we go to, how about we go to Facebook page, right? So a meta source is something like a Facebook page, an Instagram account, a lead form. We'll talk about all of these. But if I click on this Facebook page and hit next, what we'll see is you can select your particular Facebook page. And then you can do, okay, everyone who engaged with your page, or maybe everybody who just visited your page, or whatever the case may be. You can kind of see, maybe even make multiple accounts. And then, in what time span have they been in there? So have they been there in the past year, 365 days? Maybe in the past 14 days, maybe in the past 90 days. You can do some experiments and kind of take a guess on what's going to be most fruitful. If somebody was just on your Facebook page in the past 14 days, they're probably a little bit of a warmer lead than somebody who was there 250 days ago, right? But you never know, right? So oftentimes I tend to keep these pretty open, but again, feel free to experiment. Then from there, all you want to do is type in the audience name. So it could be, Facebook page engaged 365 days or something. Just something so that you know what it is. And then you're going to hit create audience. That's all you have to do. That audience is made. So the next time that you run Facebook ads, when you're under your audience section, you're going to be able to click on this particular audience and some other audiences. You can kind of overlap these things and target people who are a little bit warmer, people who are a little bit more ready for music lessons. You see how powerful this is, right? So we can do this with Instagram accounts. So same thing, visited, engaged, whatever the case may be, right? And this is always cycling through. And what I mean by that is, if you create an audience of people who've engaged with your Instagram content and you made it for 90 days, then the next day there's going to be new people in that. So people from 91 days ago are going to go off, but then people from yesterday will go on. So this can be a really great way to make sure that you're always kind of touching on people who are interacting with your business. Because maybe you run just an engagement campaign, or you do even just a boosted post. That's not always the best strategy, but you do something that gets some sort of traction on your Facebook. Maybe some things from your recital. Maybe you had a student who really is just shredding and you shared a video and it kind of got spread around a little bit. Some parents shared it, right? If people engaged with that and you have this engaged audiences set up, now those people are in an audience, and then you can maybe hit them with some marketing, right? Really powerful. You also have this lead form, which is great. Okay, so lead forms are a way that people can submit information on Facebook for leads. But what I use this for all the time is you can set this up. So in fact, I'll even just show you. You can set this up. You can choose your particular lead form, and it can be anyone who opened this form or anyone who opened but didn't submit a form. How powerful is that? If you're running some ads, people opened up the form, but they just didn't actually submit for whatever reason. You hit them with some FAQs, you hit them with some testimonials, and then maybe in another week you hit them with that form and maybe a special discount. That's how this stuff goes. Facebook is not a one-off. You have to have some strategy here, and the audiences are the biggest part of that, right? And then video is also nice. So again, if you run some video stuff, maybe even just do some engagement, some reach campaign, just get it out there to your community. But then the people who watched 60 seconds of your video, 30 seconds of your video, you can create an audience for that. Target those people who know who you are, who are warmer. You're getting the theme that I'm talking about here. And that can make your marketing way, way more effective. The same thing goes with your website. Now, you will have to get some Facebook tracking on your website. We have lots of information on how to do this over in the BAM Squad modules. Pretty easy thing to do. It seems scary because it's a bunch of code, but I'd say 9 out of 10 website platforms have kind of a built-in thing to make this easy for you. Do not fear, you'll be able to do it. Once you put that pixel tracking on your code, that data tracking on your website, then you are all set to go. And then now if somebody has gone to your website, they looked around, but they didn't convert for whatever reason, hey, hit them with some Facebook ads, right? It's all happened to us, right? The other really powerful thing is this customer list. And we're going to talk about this when it comes to lookalike audiences. But a customer list is exactly what it sounds like. If you have a big old email list of your current customers, or even people who had reached out but had not converted with you, maybe they reached out, they were a lead, but they didn't sign up for lessons, you can upload these directly to Facebook. So you could target people who, for whatever reason, didn't sign up with you but did submit a form for you. You could target them directly and with some sort of special deal or whatever the case may be. But where this gets really powerful is I want to talk about these other audiences here. So again, we go up to the top left, create audience, and there's lookalike audience. That's one way to do it. What I actually like to do is I like to scroll down. I like to find a particular audience. So let's just say, what would be a good example? How about we do, actually, let's do this customer list. Yeah, so here is a list of my current customers, right, that I just updated, right? I would click on that, get rid of this here, And then over here, you can actually create a lookalike. So just to go a little bit more slowly, I checked off on the audience I want to make a lookalike for, which I'll explain here in a second. And then I go up to these top 3 dots, click on that, and then we're going to hit create lookalike. Now, what the heck is a lookalike audience? This is so powerful. What you're doing is you're telling Facebook, hey, find me more people like these folks, right? So that could be all types of different things, whether it's income, whether it's other things that they've engaged with on Facebook, different demographic information. Facebook has all this information, as we know, right? So what you can do is you can target people who aren't your current customers, but Facebook deems as people who are similar to your current customers, right? That can be so powerful. Even those dead leads, right? They took some sort of action, right? So why not market to people that are similar to those folks? And then, hopefully more of those folks actually come through and then convert for you, right? You can create lookalike audiences for people who engage with your Facebook, for people who engage with your Instagram, who watch your videos, all of that good stuff, right? This one's a little bit more complicated. Just there's 2 things that tend to scare people that I'll show you real quickly. So here you'll see your lookalike source. So I just have my current customers, right? And then select audience location. You have to type in a country here. And that sounds scary because obviously we don't want to market to the entire country, right? So I just threw in United States, okay? But don't fear, when you go to actually run the Facebook ads, which I'll show you in some other videos, you'll put controls on that. So it's only for your local area. But for a lookalike audience, you do have to put United States here or whatever country you're in, right? The other thing that can be confusing is this percentage. So we have from 1% to 10%, all right? But what happens with this is basically 1% are the people that are most similar to that list, right? They're dead ringers for that list. And then 10% would be the other end of, hey, they're similar, but not as similar as the 1%, not as similar as the 9%, 8%, so on and so forth, right? So I've done a lot of tests with this, to be honest. You would think 1% could be really, really great. And again, that says 2.8 million people because this is for the entire United States, right? But we're not going to be targeting 2.8 million people more than likely. Actually going up to 10% is a really good strategy here because yes, we want people who are most similar, but you got to give Facebook some data to work with. And because most music schools are going to be targeting pretty local areas, we're talking 5 to 10 miles around your school, right? Giving Facebook a little bit more kind of rope to play with is going to be very, very helpful here. But then you create an audience, right? And then boom, when you go to run ads, I almost never run ads to just straight up cold audiences anymore. I'm always running to warm ads or lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences are still cold audiences. They don't know who I am, maybe, but we've deemed that they're similar to the people who have taken action on my website or Instagram accounts before. Right, so very rarely do I go to straight up cold unless I'm just going for full on scale, which we'll talk about in another video. There are some good strategies here. But again, guys, this is the number one way. Just save this video, go through it, build these things out here with me. Next time you run a Facebook ad, try some of these things out. You will either A, save a bunch of money, or B, get some more leads. Both of those things we're all about, right? Have a good one, folks.